The U.S. men's national team fails to make the Olympics one more time. They have not made the Olympics since 2008. This is the third straight cycle that they have not made the Olympics. The last time they made it was in '08. It's been 13 years now, and it would be 17 years by the time they have a chance to make it again. It's just unacceptable. The Olympics is the second most important competition in soccer. It's the World Cup, and then it's the Olympics, and then maybe the Euros or the Confederation Cup, one of those two as importance. But it is what it is. The U.S. men's national team did not make it again. I think it's time. It's been time for us to rethink the system that the U.S. is running. We need better coaches. We need a better youth program. It can't be the same as all the other years. You would think that after they missed the 2012 Olympics, they would have taken a hard look at themselves and said, hey, this is not working. We got to change it up. And then they didn't qualify in 2016. And you would think that would be the turning point. If it wasn't in 12, it would be in 16. And nothing changed. And now it happens again. So, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And right now, the U.S. men's national team program is insane because they're not really changing anything. They're doing the same thing over and over again. And they're expecting different results. And if they don't do anything, we're going to keep missing the Olympics. We're going to keep missing World Cups. And the U.S. is never going to progress. And I know a lot of people are excited because of the senior team. We have Pulisic, we have Dest, we have players playing in important teams, Chelsea, Barcelona, Valencia, Manchester City. You have Stefan being the backup keeper for Manchester City. You have Reina with Borussia Dortmund. There's so much optimism in the U.S. men's national team. But then you have these collapses. You have these bad black marks on the U.S. men's national team history that you just can't have, especially in the CONCACAF region. No offense to the CONCACAF, but it is one of the weakest regions of soccer. It's the U.S., Mexico, Costa Rica sometimes, and that's it. All these other countries, my respects to them. I'm impressed by how Honduras played. They played with heart. They played with determination. They left it all out on the field, and that's what the U.S. needs. Shout out to Honduras. They've made the last few Olympics. It looks like they have something going on over there, but the amount of money that the U.S. has, the amount of infrastructure that the U.S. has, they should never be missing the Olympics. They should never be missing the World Cup, and it just keeps on happening. So I think one of the main problems that the U.S. has is their youth system. They charge a lot of money to have kids play, so it kind of funnels out a lot of the talent because they can't afford to play, and you lose a lot of your talent pool that way. I think they need to look at teams in Europe, in the Netherlands, in England, and Spain, and how their system is different. They build their youth system up, and then they make their profit selling those players when they become pros, when they reach their potential. I think that's the system that the U.S. has to implement. Like, make your money, really honing players' talent, and then they become pros, and you ship them off to Europe, or a big team comes and gets them from you, and now you make a big profit off that player instead of just charging the kid from the time he could play, like 5 years old till he turns 18, and you milk that cow for 13 years, but your program as a whole is not going anywhere. And if things like this don't change, we're going to be in the same cycle. It doesn't matter how many talented players come and make the senior team. If we don't have the right coaches, if there's not players in the U.S. men's national team that really feel the jersey, that really want to leave it all on the field for the U.S. men's national team, then the U.S. men's national team is never going to go anywhere. And it's just unacceptable to miss the Olympics 3 straight years. The Olympics, everybody watches the Olympics. Everybody knows how important the Olympics is. And if I was just to make a comparison, the Mexican Olympic team missed out on the 2008 Olympics. And 4 years later, they made the Olympics and they won gold. They won gold in the Olympics in England. I believe it was London 2012. They missed the 2008. They missed the 2008 Olympics. 4 years later, they came back with a vengeance and they won gold. Why can't the U.S. have that mentality? Why couldn't they, after they missed the 2012 Olympics and they saw their neighbors Mexico win the Olympics in 2012, why couldn't that be what made them, flip the switch in their head and be like, okay, we missed the Olympics, our neighbors just won it, Like, let's really build this program and put emphasis on, raising our young players and being a competitive team. But they haven't, and now it's the second, third time we miss the Olympics. Something needs to change, and I don't know if they're just they don't care. I think for one of the problems is that because the U.S. men's national team doesn't get the media attention, doesn't have these big channels covering soccer, because U.S. soccer is at best the fourth most popular sport in the U.S. When the U.S. men's national team failed to accomplish their goals, when they missed the World Cup, when they missed the Olympics, the mass media is not there to hold them accountable. It's not there to criticize them. It's not there to really highlight their deficits, their lack of accomplishments. And whoever's on top, whoever's leading this program, just faces no repercussions. He just gets to keep going on and on. So it's a vicious cycle, because if the U.S. men's national team doesn't succeed, then the big media won't cover them. But if they have trouble succeeding, if they don't accomplish their goals, then the big media is not going to cover them. No one's going to hold these people accountable. They're not going to change, so they're not going to get the attention. It's just a vicious cycle. I just hope the U.S. men's national team, the U.S. soccer program, improves in these next 4 years, and the U.S. returns to the Olympics in 2024.